So, while my messy is getting ready, let's talk about our subconscious. So, subconscious is very, very, very powerful. It's very powerful to the point where it controls our body temperature to make it perfect, where it controls our, hormones and when it releases them and how it releases them, right? When it controls our patterns, where it controls our blood flow, it controls, well, pretty much everything in our body. And when you think about it, I was always amazed because we don't know so much about our brain and we don't know so much about our body and how it functions, right? And so far that we know, it looks so unbelievably amazing. Our body is such a well-fueled machine, right? And it does so many things on so many different levels to a very single cell in our body. It just like, boom. It always amazes me, like everything that is, connected and everything is flowing and everything works the way it's supposed to be. And sometimes not the way it's supposed to. And there's also, we can talk about it later. I guess it's another different topic. But as you can see, our subconscious mind, it controls all our reactions, all our patterns, and it controls our weight. So when we think about it, when we try to lose our weight consciously, right? So today I decide I am going to lose weight. And you tell yourself that and you make a plan and you're like, yes, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be whatever, solution you decide to do. And then you try to stick with it and you say to yourself, I'm gonna have willpower and willpower will help me to achieve my goal. And eventually what happens? Eventually what happens is that you give up, or your brain or your life finds more important things to do, or eventually you get back. So let's say even if you lost weight, eventually, why so many people do dieting all the time, right? Because when they lose weight, after a few weeks or a few months or a few years, they get it back, because that's how their subconscious settings is wired. And that's what people don't realize, and that's the most important thing in weight loss. That's the most important thing in dieting that no one tells you, because your brain controls everything in your body. So the most important change you have to make is the change in your brain. Oh my goodness, I got so tired. I'm like so excited. So I'm gonna have my marshmallow and I think my tea is ready. See you guys, it looks greenish, but it tastes amazing. It tastes like a mix of green tea and herby stuff, and I really like it. So it's really good. Also, it has like a bunch of vitamins, and if you Google it, there's so much stuff in it. So those teas that my mom sends me from where she lives, and she actually picks those leaves and those herbs herself, and she dries them herself, and then she sends them to me so I can get it. She picks them in the forest, so everything grows naturally, no chemicals, nothing. Amazing stuff. So if you guys looking for something, definitely do something very natural and very organic. So so you can get the benefits that you want. And I'm gonna get, since I'm on intuitive eating and I can eat anything I want, and I give so many tips about intuitive eating, how you can do the same if you want to. I'm gonna get my marshmallow. Delicious. And no guilt whatsoever. Zero guilt. I feel good about it. Yeah. So let's continue. Subconscious mind, yay! So anything you do, anything you try to change in your life, anything at all related to your body or your life, subconscious mind controls it. So why do we see so many people that get on diet, right? They start dieting, they lose weight, and then eventually they rebound back to the old weight or even gain more weight, which happens all the time. Which is also, and I'm gonna explain you why it happens, because there's a reason behind it. So I'm gonna cover it all so you guys stop dieting. because it doesn't help. I mean, it's restrictions, and that's one of the main points why diets don't work, and why for our psychology it doesn't make sense to, and for our brain it doesn't make sense to do dieting in order to lose weight, is because of this particular restriction. So for our mind, but for our brain, since we were living in caves, right? Since we were cavemen, food was very important. And the more food you had, the more chances you had to survive, correct? Right? So let's say people lived in cave ages for thousands and thousands of years, and our DNA, our body remembers our brain. There's parts of our brain that remember that kind of situation where it's very primal. So those are primal years, and our part of our brain that is primal remembers all of this. So, and this part of the brain is responsible for our survival. And when we talk about restriction of food, and you can even give examples of restriction of food during the World War II, right? There's parts of the countries that didn't have enough food and were starving, right? Or during the Holocaust, or there's horrible times where people didn't have food. So our brain and our DNA, it remembers that kind of information. So in our brain, in our mind, it's empirical to eat, and to eat well, because that guarantees our survival, right? Because if you don't have food, you're not gonna survive. You're gonna die eventually without food. So that is why for our brain, restriction of food is perceived really bad. So as long as we say no, you're not allowed to eat, as long as we say we have to stop, as long as we say we need to restrict ourselves, our brain starts freaking out like, no, we need to eat because it's important, it's your survival on top. And you say, no, I have willpower. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it over, and I'm gonna lose weight no matter what you say, and I'm gonna keep control. And you keep control, and you keep control, until your brain, which is a very well-oiled and very smart machine, so it starts giving you excuses not to do it. And that's an amazing part of your brain. And I'm gonna link the excuses below. There's a little PDF, and it's pretty fun to read. So if you guys want it, you can sign up and get the PDF. So start finding excuses not to do it, because it's for your well-being. So you gaining weight is for your benefit. That's how your brain perceives it. Maybe consciously that gaining more weight is not beneficial for you, and it's actually endangers your health. But your brain thinks that survival is the most important part of your, living on Earth here. And your maybe DNA remembers starvation times and all of these things, and your brain is like, no, we're not restricting food. Food is good, so we want more food. And as soon as you start restricting food, your brain is like, no, I don't like it. Doesn't sound good. What if she doesn't eat for 2 weeks? What if she loses so much weight she's gonna die? What if something else happened? You never know. I mean, she can get crazy and she stopped eating at all. She started with a diet, now she's not eating completely. So yeah, I mean, that's terrible. So your brain is actually worried about you when it comes to dieting or restriction or something else, because it's like, no, we gotta have the good stuff. We gotta have the food that you want and you need. And eventually it tricks you into eating. So it gives you all these excuses why you shouldn't be on diet, right? Or you shouldn't lose weight. Like, well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. We'll start Monday. I know, that's the most common one. Start Monday. I've done it so many times. I never started on Monday. Oh, we'll start tomorrow. That's an amazing one too. I eat a donut in the morning. I'm like, I'm gonna start tomorrow. The next morning, I eat another donut. I'm gonna start tomorrow. And this tomorrow never comes, because it's tomorrow and it's always tomorrow. So, and you're living in today. So if you want to start something, you gotta start today, because tomorrow will never come, because it is in the future. So, that's my tip for you. So start giving you excuses, or it will start. It doesn't let you sleep. So I remember I used to have those hunger where you're on a strict diet, and eventually it's 11 p.m., it's 12 p.m., your stomach is grumbling, you're not supposed to eat after 6 or something, and your brain is like giving you images, and your brain is like, I know what she likes. She likes, burgers at this time, and she wants the meat, so we're gonna give her images of juicy burgers. Ooh. And you lay in bed and you dream about burgers, and that's all you can think about because your brain wants to trick you into eating those things because you're restricted and you put yourself on the diet and now you're restricted. So your brain, the most important is I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand it. For your brain, it's the most important is survival. So if you restrict the food, there is possibility that you might be restricted with even more food, and then eventually you will lose weight to the point where you can die, right? And for us, we know we live in a world where probably we have food in our fridge, right? We have, means to, get more food if we want to, but our brain, since, the changes in society and development of society were so fast, our brain still didn't catch up, and there's some programs in our brain that still roll on those cave times, right? On the basis of the cave times and survival. So it's very important to understand that when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to be on diet, and I strongly advise against it for that particular reason that I told you about. So when you try to do it, your brain is actually working against you. I know you're doing it for your own benefit. I know that probably you do it for your own health. But logical things for your brain doesn't matter. Whatever matters is that is your settings in your brain. And your settings say you're always at the same weight, right? There's, this plateau weight that we're always in. And if you go below, that means it's very dangerous because something changes. And also, our brain doesn't like change. So whenever we try to change something, our brain hates it. It hates it for a reason because our brain likes automation. So it's technically automation machine, right? So it likes automation. It tries to do everything the same way. You brush your teeth the same way every day. You do it in a similar pattern, right? So maybe you wake up and then you go brush your teeth and then you wash your face. Or maybe you do it the opposite. But if you notice, you do it the same exact way and the same exact pattern as every single day. So it's automated in your brain. And that's why I like it, because your brain doesn't have to spend energy to think about it. You just do it on automatic mode, right? And that's what your brain enjoys and likes. And it likes the same neural pathways. It likes automation. So when you try to change something, when you try to destabilize, oh my goodness, I forgot the word. When you try to move the system, right, and get it higher or lower, your brain freaks out. It's like, no, what's happening? This shouldn't be happening. The same with like temperature, right? That's why your brain keeps your temperature stable on the same level all the time, unless something is really wrong going on, right, in your body. It keeps it stable. So it likes stable stuff. It likes the same way that we've been before 10 years or we've been for 20 years, right? So whenever you try to, the same with temperature, right? When you go to, let's say, sauna and you raise the temperature, eventually, when you come out of sauna, your temperature drops to the same normal level, right? So the same with your weight. When you lose weight on a diet and you drop your weight, right? Eventually your body and your brain is like, nope, that's not our standard, that's not our normal, we're gonna get back. But since you're already scared, your brain, because there might be shortage of food, because you're restricting yourself at food, your brain is like, maybe we should save some for later. That's a good idea. So that's why so many people actually gain weight after losing weight, because the brain freaks out and something switches and like, okay, that stable was good, but there's a possibility of shortage of food, so we gotta keep some for later because you never know what's gonna happen, right? And back in times where there wasn't enough food, it was very important to be you have more weight than you should. But now we know that it's not. I mean, it depends. If it's healthy for you, if you feel good, then good for you. If it's not, then it's but that's a different topic. I mean, whether you should lose weight or shouldn't, I need to make a video about that, because Maybe you don't need to, or maybe you don't want to, or maybe you shouldn't at all, because we are so focused on this, certain appearances or certain numbers that we try to get or try to achieve. But is it really your number, or is it really your priority, or is it really what you are and what you want? And that's where we dig deeper. So I gotta make a video on that one as well. But the point I want to make is that your brain controls everything. Your brain doesn't like change. Your brain likes automation. Your brain likes the same thing as before. That's why we go back to our old habits all the time, unless you're really persistent, very particular, and there's a lot of things involved in order to change. So that's why it's so hard for us to change our habits. And your brain controls everything. So if you feel that you're overweight, or if you feel that something else going on with your body that you're not happy, your brain actually has control of it. So when you're trying to lose weight, you're working against settings in your brain. It's like which is mind-blowing. And for me, it felt like, that's not fair. It's my brain. It should be working for me, not against me. I mean, that doesn't make sense, and it's not fair, right? But you need to look at from the perception of your brain. And perception of your brain, it tries to protect you as much as it can. It tries to make sure that you survive. And it had a lot of experiences in past generation where there were a lot of hunger, right? So that's why your brain developed this mechanism where you try to save more weight, or you try to gain more weight when there's perceived shortage of food, which is diet. So that's why I'm so against diets. Diets, no bueno, not good. So I mean, and that's why I advise intuitive eating everywhere, and that's why I made a course about it and I made it very simple. That's a reason why I'm doing this, and that's the reason why I wanted to explain to you guys. Do you hear my chair creaking? Oh my goodness. With YouTube videos and sounds, and sometimes I edit, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So my apologies if it's creaking. I'm finishing up, so leave a comment below if you agree. If you, get revelation why you keep going back and forth with dieting, what you feel about it, what you feel that your brain is working against you when you're trying to lose weight. Just if you have any questions, let me know. If you have suggestions for new video, let me know. And hit like and subscribe, because I do more videos about this, and I also do more videos about self-help and mind and subconscious mind, which is controls everything. So I mean, it can control your whole life. It is controlling your whole life. So that's why it's important to know a lot about subconscious. But I digress. So watch more videos. Those are very helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.